Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Lisa here from Down to Earth Gardening and Design. And today we are doing our midsummer maintenance pruning of our bloomstruck hydrangeas. They're the endless summer bloomstrucks, but we're also going to be drying. So a little bit of maintenance, a little bit of fun, and we can do them both at the same time. It's a great time of year to do that. So we're coming up on mid-August here, and that is my cutoff for pruning the endless summer hydrangeas. So when you prune your hydrangeas really depends on the variety and the cultivar. So this here is a deciduous shrub, so loses its leaves in the winter, and it can vary depending on the pH. You may have seen the video we have on how you can control the pH of your hydrangeas, but it can vary from shades of pink to violet to close to blue. So it's more in the purple tone when it's acidic, which means that I am a fan. So I'm at my daughter Hannah's house here, and these hydrangeas are a few years old. So tip number one is you should only be pruning your bloomstruck hydrangeas if they are established. So you want to give them a year or two to really get settled, get their roots settled, and to put on some growth before you start pruning them. And tip number two is that midsummer is a great time to prune them because they bloom on old and new wood. And then once we start getting into late summer and fall, they're forming their buds for next year. So that's what's so spectacular about the Endless Summer series. And I have my blue Endless Summer at home. You may have seen a recent video out on why they're all doing so great this year. But I pruned mine about 2 weeks ago. So cutoff is mid-August, and I have some video of them before pruning, after, and I also wanted to show you the big buckets of the blooms that I successfully dried. So we're going to do both today with my daughter Hannah's bloomstruck here. So the big hot tip that I want to make while we're doing this today is you can start pruning your hydrangeas as soon as the blooms start to fade and they get a little bit crispy. You can prune them a little earlier than I'm pruning them now. And remember, I mentioned my blue endless summer at my house. I've already pruned a couple weeks ago, and I have them drying, successfully drying at home. So you can get to them a little earlier. The point is, don't prune them after mid-August. So that's really your cutoff, because after that point, they are already forming some buds for blooms next year. So you don't want to cut those off. But remember, it's also going to bloom on some new growth as well. So that's another benefit to the Endless Summer series, is that they kind of help you out with pruning, because if you make a mistake, you're still going to get some flowers. Now, 2024 was a particularly great year for the mophead hydrangeas, or macrophylla. So the big leaf hydrangeas did spectacular, and I'm in zone 6B. So in those cold winter or northern climates, they had a great year, and that was for a few reasons. But one is they didn't do great last year, so we really forgot about pruning them. And although they're covered in blooms, most of them that I see are pretty leggy. So we're going to be cutting them back a little bit. I'm going to show you how to cut them back, make them a little shrubbier. Now, ideally when they're mature, they really should be about 3 to 4 feet tall and no more than 4 to 5 feet wide. So Hannah has a nice little hedge here on both sides of her front door, so we're going to be working on them. You're also going to get to see another great feature today on how their stems are starting to turn burgundy, and they will be even darker in the fall. Another really pretty feature for the bloomstruck. So for pruning and for drying today, what you will be needing is a clean, sharp pair of pruners. And you're going to need a couple of buckets, or I love my trugs, and one for drying is going to have a little bit of water in the bottom, so just enough so that all the stems will reach the water. And then another bucket for discarding the leaves or any of the blooms that have really faded and we don't want anymore. So you will see after we do this, you are going to have some new buds on it because they bloom from early summer right through to the fall. So they're going to be repeat bloomers. So we're actually doing them a favor. And by pruning your hydrangeas, you're also going to be protecting your investment and protecting the lifespan of these shrubs. So you can see here that this is all in the walkway. That's how leggy they've gotten. You can also see here that I'm wearing my boots with my capris today. It is hot out, but there is a slithering snake that lives in here. I have a little bit of footage. I get creeped out when it comes to snakes. I know they help us, and I'm really hoping they're gonna get some garden voles and moles, but man, they sneak up on me. And I'm probably gonna be a little nervous here today, a little jumpy, but my boots are gonna protect me. All right, so let's get to it. So we're going to be selectively taking some of the stems back. So I'm looking for the leggiest ones and I'm going to be reshaping. So this here is a good candidate. Now when you do this, you're going to be doing what we call in the business a heading cut. You're going to be looking for some leaves, some nice healthy leaves, and you're going to cut no more, no less than about 1/4 of an inch above them. Clean cut on a 45-degree angle. So a heading cut, what it does is it really helps it with its legginess. You're going to be able to control the height, and you're also going to be able to redirect the growth. Okay, so what I cut off, and now I just start deciding what I want to keep and what I want to discard. So this one doesn't have a lot of pretty blooms on it, so we're gonna probably discard the first few here. So be selective. Okay, this one we're gonna take way back. Okay. Discard bucket. Okay, so this is a good one to show you the cut because we want to redirect it so it's a little more upright. Just kind of take it back from the walk here. Okay, that one was a little too far, and I can show you, you don't want to leave more than 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so these aren't bad for drying. Okay, so let's put a few in the water bucket for drying. So what you want to do is you want to strip the leaves. A little tedious, but we're going to be so happy when we're inside this winter that we have some pretty bouquets of our hydrangeas, and then we also may want to make some wreaths or do some crafts with them. So planning for the future. It's part of what we do when you're a gardener. Okay, and then you want to just put it in the bucket with the water. And I'll take some of the tallest ones down a bit. Okay, so our bucket for drying is getting pretty full here, and I want to talk a little bit more about that at the end of the video, but just make sure that all of the stems are touching the water. So you just want to make sure that that's happening in that bucket there. So while you're pruning, you don't have to just be pruning for height and pruning off the leggy stems. Also, you can be deadheading. I mean, we certainly don't want to look at this for the rest of the gardening season. So you can just go ahead and clip that back to the next set of healthy leaves. So we're taking the unsightly ones off too. Just doing a quick check. It's getting awfully hot out here. Okay, looking pretty good. These shrubs are so much fun. You can see the range of color. Just on the two shrubs here, there's some different shades, which are really pretty. But also you can see how they're in different stages of their blooms. This is a newer bloom. All right, so we're also cleaning it up here. Now, you want to make sure that you do all sides of the shrub. It's a little bit easier when you have them in an open garden, but this is a foundation planting, so I especially like to check the back sides of the hydrangeas, and also when you have shrubs close to the house for foundation planting, you want to bring the shrub away from the house. So back here, I'm just gonna take it away here at least a foot, ideally 1.5 feet. And yet another example of a different color just on this one shrub. Okay, so I have quite a bucket here, and I'm just working on 2 shrubs. You can see how much I'm taking off. I'm just going to trim this one up for drying here. Put it in my bucket. Okay, so what I want to say about drying, and I am trying to pick the best ones. I might have to clean some of them up a little bit. I see my granddaughter in the window watching. Hi, Gracie. So for drying these, what you want to do is you can keep them right in the bucket of water, put them in a cool, dark place, not in full sun because it'll bleach the color out. We want to retain as much color as we can, and then just go ahead and let the water evaporate. So I'm going to show you a quick video of mine in my back room, and they're still sitting on the counter in the sink and they're drying great, so I'm going to give you a little clip of that, but it's as easy as that. So it's kind of a no fuss, no muss, and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We did a really great pruning here, and again, I want to stress the cutoff is mid-August. You want to get out there, keep them in shape, and it's going to improve the looks, the appearance, but also the health. We don't want any leggy shrubs that are going to break or that we're going to have to cut at the wrong time. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed my video today, and I appreciate all of you watching at home. Please feel free to share your gardening experiences and some tips in our comments. We love hearing from all of you.